All right, so we are live on today's episode of the Tuscaloosa Real Estate Investor Club podcast. I hope you guys are doing well. It's January 15th when I'm recording this, and we're supposed to be having some icy weather, possible snow, definitely below freezing. So came to the office this morning to get some content out for the week and was really thinking about what is something that everybody needs to know before they get into real estate investing. And so, the way I would break down my business, there'd be 4 pillars on the real estate investing side of the business. Obviously, I'm involved in other businesses as well. But when it comes to real estate investing, there's 4 pillars. There's lead generation, there's acquisitions, there is dispositions, and there's contract management. And on today's episode, I'm going to talk specifically about lead generation. When it comes to lead generation, whether your goal is to buy properties you can Airbnb, VRBO, whether you're looking for long-term rentals, if you're looking for wholesale opportunities, if you're looking for, fix and flips, fix and holds, slow flips like what I'm doing, whatever the end goal is for you as an investor, you've got to have leads. And here's what a lead is. A lead is somebody who has given you their name and number or email address and has also given you permission to contact them. That's it. That's all a lead is. When it comes to generating leads, you've got to be careful about people, claiming they can generate leads for you at $5 a lead or $15 a lead. Leads really are not the most important thing because most leads don't turn into closed sales. But we need leads, and I want to go over with you some things that I would recommend, things that I've learned along the way, things I wish I would have known when I first got started. So in the beginning, if you're watching this, listen to this show, you may be at a point in your career where you've decided that real estate investing is a way for you to make additional streams of income, or you might have the goal to eventually be, a full-time real estate investor. But if you're new to this, you're probably going to spend more time and energy on the free lead generation. Okay, I put free in quotation marks because there is no free lead generation. But what I mean by that is you're not actually spending money for the leads. You're spending your time to generate leads. Okay, so great example. Let's say you go to a neighborhood where there's some properties that would fit what you're looking for, and you spend 2 hours every Saturday morning knocking on doors, talking to people that live in those houses. If you do enough of that, you'll get deals, guaranteed. But every single time you want to find another deal, if door knocking is your thing, you're going to have to go out there and just keep knocking on doors. What happens if you're sick on Saturday? What happens if you are at a family function on Saturday and don't get your door knocking in for the week? That's what I mean by there is no free lead gen. All lead generation is going to cost you money, time, or both. And time is money. If you are out there, there's tons of coaching programs out there that teach people how to go out and generate leads for free. That's what they're talking about. Cold calling. Could you get a list off of PropStream? Could you buy a list from somebody online and sit down and call that list and generate some leads for yourself that way? Absolutely, you could. It's a great way to generate leads. It's a whole lot better use of your time than out there knocking on doors. You go knocking on doors, people are afraid to answer. People aren't home. People ignore you. People think you're the cops. People don't really know what you're doing. There's a high level of their guard being up. Making cold calls is a great way to generate business. But again, if you're going to build your business on cold calling, what happens when you're not able to make the cold calls? What happens when you get so busy with appointments and properties that you just don't have time to make any calls this week? So I think if you're going to do those kind of activities, you should do those just in the beginning to generate some money for yourself so that now you can pay for lead generation. Give you some examples of paid lead generation. When I first started as an investor, I had, my hands full with running my real estate brokerage. Okay. Some of you know this, some of you don't, but I started the very first class real estate franchise office in the state of Alabama at the end of 2019, right before COVID. And, as of today, when I'm recording this, I have 10 offices in 6 different states. There was not a whole lot of free time to go knock on doors or to make cold calls because I had enough going on. I had a full-time job and investing was kind of a side hustle. So what I did in the beginning was I did direct mail. I found a list from PropStream. I sent that list to a company to send postcards to, and every single month that company would send postcards with my phone number, my website, my contact info. And so that was a very, very scalable way of doing business. So it was about $1,000 a month in the beginning for me. And again, it's $1,000. It was losing some money, but I wasn't having to knock on doors. I wasn't having to make phone calls, and people were calling me. I got calls as soon as the first batch went out, and when the second batch went out in month 2 and the third batch went out in month 3, I got phone calls every single month. And the great thing about that kind of marketing, inbound marketing, I'm wanting them to call me. I'm not bothering them. I'm not getting the wrong number. If it's the wrong number, wrong address, they just throw it in the trash. The only people I was really dealing with were the people who really wanted to talk and the people that would say, take me off your list. But it was a very scalable way to do business. If I wanted to go from $1,000 a month to $2,000 a month, it would be another $1,000 a month out of my pocket for direct mail, but it would be really not any extra time. No more, go from knocking on 1,000 doors in a month to 2,000 doors in a month. You're gonna have to spend a lot more hours out there knocking on doors versus with direct mail. I just, increased my budget. Yeah, I had more phone calls coming in because more people were calling me, but it was a very, very scalable way of doing it. You can even send those leads. There's companies out there where you can put a phone number out there, and when those leads come in, they go to a call center, and the call center takes down the information so that you can call them when it's convenient for you. That was a scalable way of doing business. Okay, I'm still doing that today. But if I really wanted to speed things up, I'm gonna give you a little cheat code here. If you really want to speed things up, and with direct mail, it might be 3 months, 6 months into it before you get your first actual deal. It was right at month 7 for me when I'd actually been talking with my business partner, like, hey man, I kind of feel bad that we're spending this amount of money. It hasn't turned into a closed deal for us yet. So instead of spending money for month after month after month until you get one that breaks even, what I have found is the easiest way to generate leads is to simply hire a cold caller. There are companies out there that hire people from third world countries. They pay them, probably $4 or $5 an hour, which is really good for them because it might be the minimum wage in the Philippines, for example, is like $6 or $7 a day. So if they can make $4 or $5 an hour instead of $6 or $7 for a day, you're getting, usually people that are pretty motivated. So there are companies out there that hire people like that. They train them. They give them the technology they need. They give them a dialer system where they can make the dials, and then they are calling all day. And essentially what they're saying is, hey, I work with a local real estate investor in the Tuscaloosa area, just checking to see if you would be interested in selling that property that you own at 1234 Main Street. And if they say yes, they get a little bit more information. They fill it out and it hits my inbox. If you hire one of those companies, okay, it's probably going to be $1,200 a month, $1,500 a month, something like that. You will start getting leads probably on the first or second day instead of waiting 3 to 6 months like with direct mail. So if you really want to speed up the process on this thing, I would hire a cold caller first. For me, it was the last thing I did. I did everything else but hire a caller because I really just didn't know if it would work or not. And once we did that, business started blowing up. And the great thing about that is no matter what I have going on, okay, it's January 15th, we've got ice storms coming in, but it doesn't matter what time of the year. I'm one of those guys that I like to spend time away from work. I like to deer hunt when it's deer hunting season. I like to turkey hunt when it's turkey season. I like to fish when the weather's good. When it's too hot to fish, I take my kids out on the pontoon boat and we ride around Lake Tuscaloosa and we jump off the boat and swim and pull up to the islands and just have a good time. And so while I'm going about my daily business, while I'm going about my life, I'm involved with my church. I'm involved as a reservist in the Army National Guard. So I at least 1 weekend a month, I'm going and doing the Army thing. But no matter what I personally have going on in my personal life and business life, my cold callers are making calls every day. And I'm generally getting 3 to 5 quality leads every single day. That is phase one, pillar one of having a successful real estate investing business. If you're going to go the other route and knocking on the doors and doing the manual things, there are some cheat codes that I could offer to you on that, things that I teach to people who are in my coaching program, things that I would do if I was starting off and didn't have any money. I could go over, more of those things with you on a coaching call, but I would only do those free things until you get a deal or two under your belt and you have some money in your bank account to go hire a cold caller. That would be my goal. If you're new to this, you're going to do the manual things, the things that take up your time. I would do those things just to get your first 1 or 2 deals. And then with that money in the bank, I would take that money and I would hire a cold caller and probably pay for at least 6 months of having a cold caller. And then that cold caller is going to bring so many more deals your way that eventually it's all paying for itself and you're truly running a business instead of a job. So many people I see out there in the real estate investing space are teaching people how to have a job. If you've got a full-time job, you probably don't need another part-time job, right? What I'm all about is having a business. A business is something that runs and grows and happens no matter what I'm personally doing. I've got this lane covered, I've got this lane covered, I've got this lane covered, and I've got this lane covered. And luckily for you, in this modern era that we're in, it's never been easier for you to outsource and hire and delegate things every step of the way. As fast as you can, you want to delegate your lead gen. You want to outsource your lead gen activities so that they're the ones calling the neighborhood, seeing who wants to sell, and you're only spending your time with the people that said yes, they would consider selling. Make sure to check out the second episode on acquisitions. That's where we're going to talk about what you do with the leads that come in, the people that say, yes, I would entertain selling. Yes, I want to sell. Yes, I'd like a cash offer on my property. That's what we're going to talk about on the second pillar, which is acquisitions. Have a great day. Feel free to reach out if I can help you in any way.